All right, hey everyone, welcome. Tellor Dev Call, July 17th. Super fun week. Brenda's not here, you'll see. She's out in Paris. So if you're out in Paris, yeah, give her a call. Let her know. Go meet her. Or just ambush her. It's always more fun. Love whenever people actually recognize me or it's like you feel like a celebrity. Anyway. Yeah, no, good week though. Lots of cool talks going on there. So, we're going to be watching all of them. Lots of good. I think the Oracle Summit's next week.
It is. No, it's
Or
this
this
week.
weekend.
Yeah. So ECC is the next
ECC
4 days,
yep.
And then the 21st, right after ECC is the Blockchain Oracle Summit.
It's like all the Oracle.
The Stable Summit just happened over this weekend, which was apparently a success.
It happened.
It happened.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch any of the talks or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like what are people talking? Like there was the DeFi Security Summit too.
Well, apparently Michael from Curve submitted proposals for every sponsor of the Stable Summit for their it's a purge proposal. It's like how they share fees in the system. So for there's a lot of these smaller stablecoin summits or stablecoin projects that that's a really big deal for that now they're potentially included in
nice Curve.
Yes,
cool.
So, pretty neat.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. And then the big news, Cello's going to be in L2 on Ethereum. Right, that's the proposal, which is I don't get it, but it's just one of those things. Like I never thought about Cello, and then now everyone's like, "It's amazing. They're going to be in L2." I'm like, will I think about them if they're in L2? I don't know. Hope maybe.
Yeah, you could feel like the marketing brainwashing you.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't. No offense against Cello was cool. I originally they had the public goods, they had sort of a feel good type vibe to them, but then I never thought about
Is that still their branding? Have they moved away from that? Yeah.
It was very soft, help the poor, help
doing things in the actual real world.
Yeah, which was super cool. And then I didn't think about them. But anyway, back to Tellor stuff. We can kind of walk through what you guys are doing. The first thing, I guess, we had some dispute monitor action over the past few days. Basically, if you run the dispute monitor, there's the gas price oracle is setting it off. Basically, just because the gas price, if you guys know gas prices on Ethereum, it's crazy volatile. So if the one that you submit is 10% less than what it currently is, it'll set off a flag. The problem is the gas price can triple in a second. So it wasn't they're not actually disputable values. So
but it triggers the
triggers the DVM. So we'll probably look into, I think Spuddy made an issue, right? To hopefully have some custom flags for this query type doesn't follow the 10% rule. It follows I don't even know. What would gas price be, triple or something like that? Have to be just huge because it's so crazy.
It would probably be okay to set it at 100%.
Yeah.
Especially since we don't know of anybody doing.
Well, and if you set it at 100%, even if you get a false DVM message, it's not on the auto disputer. So
it's not an auto dispute. It's a flag. It's this is potentially disputable.
It lets you know that's okay, but it shouldn't let you know every single submission. So,
to be clear, if someone submitted the gas price to Tellor and it was way super wrong, it would be disputable. It would be disputed, but that doesn't seem to be the case with anything that's happened over the weekend.
But somebody submitted 12 and the current gas price was 15.
Yeah.
And it's could it have gone from 12 to 15? Yeah, very sure. Very, very easily, very, very quickly.
And with the disputable values monitor, it depends how often you're checking also. Mine checks once every 30 seconds. So, it could have changed that much in 30 seconds easily.
Yep, which it probably did. But cool. Owen, I know you were on vacation last week, but any updates? You're super quiet, but can you guys hear him?
What about now?
Much better.
Yeah, glad to be back. I'm basically just going to be catching up with what's been happening and seeing where to contribute. I think that's mostly Tellor Nova. So maybe I'll hop on a call with Tim at some point today.
Cool. Tim, on to you. I saw you did the Alternity review, so they're integrating us, and I saw you gave them some feedback. Anything I should go over now, or any messages from them?
Yeah, it was basically, I mean, they basically just needed to completely redo that integration, which is not a whole lot of work, but
Okay.
they didn't have the delay for get data before, which is like the number one best practices thing you have to do. So I pointed them to our best practices repo for Liquidity integrations. And then the second thing was the like caching a value so that people can't just dispute to get a better value back in time. But yeah, so that's what I had for them, and I haven't seen any updates since then, but yeah,
Right.
hopefully the fact that we have that example makes it clear what they should be doing. And then yeah, actually reviewing another project was I looked into Reflexer and how they're using Tellor, and yeah, it's really just they have a list of like whitelisted oracles, and at any times one of their authorized addresses can go and swap to Tellor. And yeah, so that's it. And
Okay,
it
so
looks like
we should really do that. Not much we can do there, I guess.
But
exactly.
What's the tangible when they swap to Tellor? What does that actually mean, and what does that entail?
It looks like it's externally owned accounts. It's just some guy can do it.
Probably what's his name? Stefan.
Yeah. There's some security on like adding a new oracle to the whitelist. There's like a delay, but then once that delay's over, something's on the whitelist. Now that authorized address can just swap around. So they have some security there, but yeah. Then once we're on the list, they can use us.
Cool.
But for now, we're just not being used at all.
Gotcha.
We're the backup.
Yeah. We're the backup, yeah. And then we won't be used at all until someone manually swaps to us. Yeah. Yeah. So it looks like Mike posted the press release for the data specs registry. And so that just kind of briefly introduces this little data specs registry project, the on-chain registry. And then, yeah, I'm working on a little longer form article on what that means for Tellor. And then continuing on some Nova research. Yeah.
Cool. Akram, how's life?
Life is good. I'm adding tests to Telefeed's PR. I'll look at the gas price oracle.
Thank you.
Shoot. It won't be as it would probably have to do with the type versus doing the query ID, because the query ID is always different. But the way we actually get the price for the oracle through Tellor is get so that the query data has a timestamp, so get the block right before that timestamp, and then get the median of gas price at that block. So just I guess just to put that out there, just in case you thought it was something else. Yeah, so that's what I'll do.
Which should be much closer then. theoretically.
Which should always be, I don't know, the same, I would think. It shouldn't be affected by the whatever the price jumps are.
Yeah, you're right. So do we know who's submitting it then? Is it us?
We don't know.
Okay. Well, who was the person that was talking about using it? Like, why would somebody be submitting it even?
It was a long time ago. We added that for a project, but I don't remember what project it was.
Yeah. All right, maybe reach out on Telly or on the Discord and see. Because I wasn't aware, but thank you all.
All right, so for reporters,
Also,
we're going to send them. If anyone knows who's submitting the gas price, come talk to us.
Yeah, I'll go look at the data spec to make sure that we can safely dispute or talk with them about it.
also, I never realized that this had a timestamp argument, but I'm thinking it should not have a timestamp argument, because with that in there, it's really hard to query. Like a contract that wants to read this data, it won't really know what timestamp to input.
Well, I think
to
you
actually
put
read.
timestamp because I think the original use case was people wanted to reimburse
Go
gas
back in time.
at a previous block.
So yeah, it was never really meant to
Okay.
anybody to submit the current gas price. It would have been like, when this function was called in the past, what was the gas price for that transaction?
Okay, got it. That makes sense. Okay, scratch that.
Yeah. Because if you want the current gas price, it's super volatile. Don't do that.
You don't need an oracle for that.
Right. Cool.
Yeah,
That's it. Okay. Cool. And then if you saw Kadena left us some notes, or Sertic,
okay.
he left us a message. Apparently we have some findings we should go look at, or it's like their initial review. So they said they put it in some sort of Dropbox or something. I don't. Just be careful. Careful downloading things from Telegram groups. Anyway, Spotty?
I don't know, man. I'm catching up.
Gnosis node still not running.
Gnosis node has been really tricky compared to mainnet node, but I think I have all the right flags going now. I got a guide coming for the DVM. Brian and Mike, you guys were gonna look at that. Okay, yeah. What should I do?
Yeah. No, I'll look into some stuff for you,
I
but
still got to talk to Bytes Masons
yeah.
about their data.
Has Origin said anything back, or they're just
No.
they said they're taking their time.
Mm-hmm.
So okay. Yeah. Keep on it. Probably most people would be pretty quiet this week since most of them will be in Paris, but I would assume. Cool. All right.
Did either of you get selected for that run a node grant round?
I haven't heard anything.
Oh,
You got selected?
no, I just got denied over the weekend. I got this really sad. We regret to inform you email.
Anyway.
I wasn't sad about it. I was like, should I be sad about this?
I
Makes me feel sad.
I probably would have had success if I was a little bit more dishonest. I mean, I don't have anything today.
No. Yeah.
I was like, I already run a node, but I want to do more nodier stuff. So that was probably
That's a good tactic, I think. You don't know who's reviewing it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Ryan, on to you.
Yes, that the compound form finally came back up over the weekend. Submitted a response to the compound 3 deployment on Linea. Still keep focused on that. I'm also building out the front end for the data specs registry. that we announced last week. And then also kicking the tires on Spuddy's DVM guide that'll be coming out soon.
How, generally speaking, what do you think is the your goal for that website to be working? What do you think is like a realistic, based off of? I mean, are you hitting any walls?
No, I mean, well, the biggest obstacle so far was getting the graph version set up to be showing up on the site, because I was typically only dealt with the graph on the data feed, but hit that hurdle on Friday, which is great. So, I mean, as far as like the usability of it, you'll see the registry of like the current data specs, and then you should be able to manage them, like in terms of updating the owner and manager addresses, as well as the doc hash, I think. And then also creating new data specs as well via IPFS.
I just think it'd be cool to time that with like putting out this longer form piece about it, with just like here's how to register your data spec.
Yeah,
no,
absolutely.
You know, like this button kind of thing. Yeah. All right, cool.
Cool. All right. Any questions?
Yes. I'll start off with Slick Mick here. He had a nice thought out proposal about going over to modular ZK EVM. The first half essentially was, are we interested in moving over there? And I'll just kind of TLDR. Nick's response was essentially, the dev team, we're going to be really focusing on specific chains anymore. We're going to try to be scaling out solutions that are multi-chain focused. However, in terms of the community, or if you wanted to gather some muster behind the community forking, like we have done with the Fetch Oracle over on Pulse Chain, all for that. If you're listening in the community right now, Slick Mick is all for trying to move over to the modular ZK EVM that's being put together by CultDAO. Hop in the Discord, get that conversation going. We're also definitely up for helping that process in terms of advising on the fork as well. But in terms of the core team, we're not going to be necessarily focusing on just deployment on specific chains, unless there's like specific user demand there. And Nick, you can feel free to elaborate on that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can just sort of use us. Like, I think it's
right.
I think there is a bridge to Ethereum, a passageway. So like you can, we could just launch over there, and like once they're live, we're happy to do so. So like, I don't know, you wouldn't necessarily need to fork us. If you would want to fork us and like issue a new Oracle token over there as some new strategy, like we're not necessarily interested in doing that. Like that's what like some people, I know you mentioned like Fetch forked us and did it because there was basically no bridge from Ethereum to Fetch or to Pulse Chain. So like we sort of can't go over there at the moment. So we just said, if you guys like the Tellor, feel free to fork us. But like this one is really different, So if they want, like we can just come over there and we'd be happy to help them. And yeah, the cult guys seem cool, so that'd be cool.
Cool. And then I think we had one other question. Spuddy, correct me if I'm wrong, but this one comes from Mayumos, and it's essentially, are we hyped about crypto? What are we excited about? Predictions of crypto adoption and how it's going to play out.
Pumped.
I'm pumped. Yeah, super. Yeah.
But are you hyped?
I'm not hyped all the time. I am hyped frequently, like a couple times a week.
Yeah, no, I mean, I am like, I reached back out to Karima last week, and I was talking with Brenda, like I want to get the meetup groups going again. I feel like I don't have enough I don't evangelize enough, if that makes sense. You know, like I want to get out there and like you can get in this little Twitter bubble of like, you know, like I get excited here on Twitter about different things because like it's like you almost feel depressed because you look around and everyone is like crazy smart and they're working on like such awesome, you know, technologies that you like don't even get close to understanding.
But
and
Twitter is also like super PvP.
yeah,
Like everybody's competing for attention and followers all the time. And it seems like everybody's doing awesome things, like my shit's better than your shit. And it's like this constant competition. It's not the reality. So yeah, when we get in our Twitter bubbles, it's not.
That's why going to real crypto events is the exact opposite. It's just like a really refreshing thing, whether it's a hackathon or a conference or like ECC, like then it's not PvP, and it like reconnects you with the hype of like we're all on the same team.
There's
like,
still a ton of people showing up to conferences.
Yeah.
I mean, like never, like, I don't know.
well, and like we're still like, and you get sort of focused on like the narrow focus of like how to scale smart contract oracles or something like that, and then what you actually don't realize is like, oh man, like people still don't get why they should use or care about crypto at all, you know. So it's like, you know, you need to just focus on that as a space more, I think, and like that's what gets me excited about crypto, and hopefully we can. You know, like I think I like to say like I think we're getting at a point where like more and more of this stuff is like solved, like, you know, like not many, like similar, like, you know, as everyone does compare it to the internet stage where like at first, you know, in the 90s everyone was worried about like how to connect and like making this thing scale, but like once you get to that flip point, like and we want to be part of the flip point, like how can we just it's no longer about building infra. How do we, you know, build apps that users use? How do we build products that businesses use? How do we, you know, make this actually relevant? And
going with that analogy though, it's kind of it's like as if the .com bubble happened while the infrastructure, before the infrastructure was even built.
Sure.
And with crypto, which was like the 2007 ICO bubble, like. But I say that because there's the real .com bubble, the real app bubble is still yet to happen. Once the infrastructure is laid and things are really working, then you're gonna have a boom of people actually, you know, creating real applications for this, and we have yet to see that. So that'll be a really crazy wave whenever that happens.
Yeah, so I'm excited about it. I mean, I hope and then like I feel like as like sort of all of us, even if you're listening to this call, you're one of us, like you're going to be an OG. Like in 5 years, everyone's going to look at you like, man, you were so early. And you know, like it's going to be our goal to like carry forward the ethos of cryptocurrencies. Because like if you don't think people care now about decentralization, like in 5 years, whenever there's actual users, like people will not give a shit. They won't even know that like decentralization was ever supposed to be a thing. And so like, you know, like we have to like sort of like be the thorn in people's side. Like, no, like we have to keep governments out of this. And
it's
try
like talking to like early web guys that were working on that stuff in the late 80s. You know, they're complaining about Web 2.0, you know?
Yeah, you know, how do you well, like how do you sort of keep it? And it's going to be this constant fight, and that's, but that's like I'm excited for that. Like I hope we get the fight. You know, that would be fun. Hopefully,
it's kind of like it's probably the same proportion, like the same proportion of people who are into crypto care about decentralization. It's like people who use the internet who care about
running your own
encryption.
server.
Who care about like encryption.
running
like,
a VPN or something.
Or like caring about their privacy, like caring whether the net, you know, internet traffic is using HTTPS or like whatever. It's gonna be.
But it's crazy important. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have like that handful of people who are like fighting for VPN rights out there, like it's awful. So like you almost like you have to like
like there are enough developers creating like, you know, applications that can give you like encrypted, you know, files and privacy. So if somebody steals your phone, they can't take everything off your phone.
Right.
So there's still Tellor is here caring about decentralization. Other projects do too. I don't know. I can't think of one that cares as much.
I mean, some guys do. It's just usually like we will. I feel like we're special in that, like, or maybe not, but like I feel like we're less dogmatic than a lot of the decentralization. You know, like Bitcoiners obviously care about decentralization, but like it becomes like slightly religious in some ways. And so, you know, like Zcash is cool.
Zcash.
Yeah, some of those other big projects. But
Zcash got me into crypto.
there you go. Monero obviously cares. Monero's super cool. I guess no. Well, didn't Fluffy Pony work for the CIA or something?
Something like that.
It
gets murky in there.
It happens, guys.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right. Any other questions or things we gotta go with?
I think that's it.
Mike also sent me a question about.
Oh yeah.
No, well, this was a DM. He sent me a question about like possibilities for a pool for reporters, a reporter pool. But it's just really, really, really hard. There's like some big challenges.
Well, you can do reporter pools. It's just trusted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to do a reporter pool without it being trusted. But I mean, this is the same as like having like most mining pools in a lot of ways.
I think it's
staking pools.
I think it's something that we would love to see come from the reporter community.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. If anybody wants to, I would be willing to help as much as I can.
Yeah. So for those that don't know the history of Tellor, we have had reporter pools in the past, and like the problem with reporter pools is, you know, like what's happened a few times in the past is like you would have a reporter pool, it would get to be 80 to 90% of the market, and we would know the guy who was running it, and then everyone would say we're a centralized piece of shit because the one reporter pool has everyone in it, and then we're like, it's not us, but then it's like, you know, so there's pros and cons to reporter pools. But if somebody wants to start one, we're all for it.
We're not as well positioned for starting a reporter pool as the guy who's like winning all the time-based rewards already. Also,
Yes.
you know, there's like a few reporters that already they win most of the time-based rewards. Those guys are in a better position to start a pool than we are.
Might as well just set up your own reporter.
Yeah, well, I think that's there's this, it's different than like a pure staking pool, because like what's limiting people in getting the rewards right now, and it's more like the technology and sort of it's still on the, you know, you have to know how to do it correctly side, not the I need more capital side. And so we wanted to eventually flip to the latter, and then pools will become more important as access to capital needs to go up. So that's the answer in a nutshell. Anyway, all right, super good call, guys. Thanks for coming. Talk to you next week.